for Nigerians to understand where we're coming from. Chairman, before we go any further, allow me to break this thing down to the understanding of the average common man. Because, like I said earlier, it is ridiculous and not easily to be comprehended, even by those that went to school. That 210 trillion is unaccounted.
To make it clear to Nigerians tonight, the allegations are against Mr. Kyari and his colleagues who are the headship. Yes. And you mentioned their names in that press conference, right?
Yes. Kyari, who was the then group managing director, Umar Ajia as the then chief financial officer, and Balawunti as the GGM Nappings.
Have you reached out to them through a call, through a letter, to an official correspondence?
The committee was all along dealing with as your expenditure, liabilities for that period.
Senator, let me ask you a quick one. Out of this 210 trillion naira, the other part, which is the JV, which you are querying and saying, look, that could have ended in 2016, but we now see it in your books from 2017. But the other part is, it was listed in the books as subsidy-related receivables, 107 trillion naira. That suggests that that money is being owed to the NNPCL, not necessarily missing. Senator Wadada, why is this figure being publicly framed as unaccounted for, if it may represent debts owed to NNPC rather than funds missing from it?
Fantastic. Owed by who?
Are there no records to...
No records. The 107...
No record of those who took the...
At all. All NNPC said in its audited financial statement is that the money is owed by some defunct banks. No bank, no name of bank was mentioned. No figure was mentioned attached to any of the banks.
Senator, the allegation that you are making, they are in very humongous proportion, which could lead anyone to jail.
Yes, of course. That's why we are taking it public. And that's why I have taken the pain immediately after my break of fast to be here, for Nigerians to understand where we are coming from. Chairman, before we go any further, allow me to break this thing down to the understanding of the average common man. Because, like I said earlier, it is ridiculous and not easily to be comprehended, even by those that went to school. That 210 trillion is unaccounted.
To make it clear to Nigerians tonight, the allegations are against Mr. Kyari and his colleagues who are the headship. Yes. And you mentioned their names in that press conference, right?
Yes. Kyari, who was the then group managing director, Umar Ajia as the then chief financial officer, and Balawunti as the GGM Nappings.
Have you reached out to them through a call, through a letter, to an official correspondence?
The committee was all along dealing with
names in that press conference, right?
Yes. Kyari, who was the then group managing director, Umar Ajia as the then chief financial officer, and Balawunti as the GGM Nappings.
Have you reached out to them through a call, through a letter, to an official correspondence?
The committee was all along dealing with the present management. But having gotten to where we have gotten, the committee now deems it fit, right and responsible to get these people through the present management. We are inviting them to appear before the committee in public hearing to clear the air in this controversial, ambiguous, and unacceptable conduct.
You've, in what you are asking, have you fixed a date for them to appear?
We shall, immediately after the Eid, we will be writing them through the GMD of the NNPC.
So there was an explanation made by the Ojulari leadership, but they are not satisfied.
We are not satisfied. That's the explanation I told you.
Brought on board
after it being contained. That's why I said, give me a while. What is contained in the Bible or the Quran of NNPC, the audited financial statement, is the ultimate book or document that shows your financial dealings both on the side of assets and liabilities. What is contained there? NNPC on their liabilities, that is the accrued expenses. NNPC said the figure for their accrued expenses within that period was and is still, as far as we are concerned, 103 trillion. Then tell us, how did you get to 103 trillion? It was only mentioned that the 103 trillion was covered by retention fee, legal fee, and audit fee. And none of these figures had, items, none of the items had any figure linked to it. So that is indicting enough. Haven't asked them questions. Now the response of the present team to us on 103 is that the 103 was utilized to pay joint venture partners under cash calls. And cash calls, as we all know, was abolished by Buhari's administration in 2016. So how then do we take it that this 103 as liability figure is accepted or should be accepted by the committee and in turn the general public, Nigerians that we represent? Of course, no. So that makes it imperative for NNPC, for the committee to tell NNPC, to the knowledge of to Nigerians on whose mandate we are there, that this liability figure is not acceptable because it is not substantiated. That's one. On the 107, which is the asset now, receivables, the entire money, they said, was being owed by some defunct banks. And no name of bank was mentioned. No figure was given for, okay, the defunct banks, Bank A, as one of the banks, the defunct banks that is owing or is holding on to part of this money, is holding on to figure A or figure B. None was mentioned. How then, Sheum, would we accept this also as the figure for assets? And that's why we are saying NNPC should and must account for 210 trillion. Liability asset figure is unsubstantiated, so not acceptable. The asset figure, 107, not acceptable because it is not substantiated. That's why we are calling the immediate past management.
But the disease in the Malay on the NNPC, on the oil and gas sector, has been years of opaqueness.
Yeah.
The books in the oil and gas sector has rarely been an open and accountable one, and there's always been a question. Senator, is the Senate willing to pursue criminal accountability of this matter, even if it implicates powerful figures in your party?
Yeah, of course. Of course. APC, the period under review was spearheaded